So basically, over the weekend, there was a call for eugenics and the murdering of the next generation. And I'm saying that because we had multiple influencers basically get up there and say, "Yeah, well, I killed my kid. He had Down syndrome. Like, what else was I supposed to do?" And then at the same time, you had people like Asmongold get up there and say, "Well, people with lower genetic traits or something or other, they need to be eradicated." I find myself looking at these so-called influencers in absolute horrid disgust of the statements they make. Disgust that these type of people would put this personal information about loved ones and then having involvement in their murder on social media. Like, we literally had people over the weekend celebrating and glorifying the death of children for clickbait. And as somebody who takes care of his kids while building a business, while being involved in the community, while exposing all these evils, while trying to share the truth, while trying to connect with people, I find that, again, absolutely disturbing. But it's also representative of the time frame that we live in, to where people have absolute disdain and disgust for human life. As Elon Musk would say, the mind virus is rampant, and it is a anti-human mind virus that ultimately makes people want to kill other humans. It's not good, man. Like, we have been infected with the depopulation and dehumanization agenda, and it manifests itself in these different capacities. Now, the flip side of this too is what I've talked about in previous videos. The fact that while they are simultaneously, how does TikTok say? Um, unaliving, while they are simultaneously unaliving the domestic and natural born humans, they are rolling out a completely different generation and crop of humans. You have people like Sam Altman from Preventative advocating for genetically modified children. There was a news clip that went out this weekend talking about designer babies. I think it was in Australia.
Well, the world is one step closer to creating designer babies with a world-first experiment altering the genes of embryos. Scientists at Columbia University have used a method called base editing, which chemically alters one letter in the DNA sequence. They were able to successfully edit 2 genes in a human embryo, removing mutations that, if developed, would have put a human at risk of heart disease. While previously clinics have offered to screen for certain genetic traits, this marks the first known instance of using base editing to alter an embryo once it's been created. These embryos have not been implanted to lead to a pregnancy, but researchers say it is now possible to produce a child from genetically altered embryos. It's a controversial proposal and it's had ethicists worried for years. On one hand, it may allow mutations that could cause disease to be removed from embryos, reducing the risk of future illnesses. But on the other, it opens the door to eugenics by offering potential parents the ability to select traits such as hair or eye colour, even intelligence and athletic ability. These edits are not always perfect, and even when they do work, they may lead to unforeseen medical complications further down the line.
My point is this, is we are seeing the erosion of the old world order and the introduction of the new world order, and there's going to be new humans for this new world order. There are going to be transhumans for this technocracy. The transhumans require the sacrificing of normal humans. And to be 1,000% honest with you, this is where it gets into like the fracturing of humanity discussion. Honestly, this brings up like something I've been talking about on the show and in my own personal life for quite some time. The fracturing of humanity is not like a fringe conspiracy theory. It's something that's actually going to happen. We're already seeing, in my thought process, 3 different types of humans being made. Technically, you could say like the 4th if we include like synthetic beings, but for simplicity's sake, we're just going to keep it simple with 3. The cyborgs are going to be half humans. We're already seeing them. People who are walking around technologically augmented, either with brain chips, prosthetics, some type of mechanical device. Those type of humans are already here. The next are the ones that I was just mentioning beforehand, the transhumans, right? the people that basically abdicate their humanity and become a completely different species entirely. These are going to be the people that like openly admit that they were once human, but they are something completely different now. And then you have H plus, the real humanity awakened, the real humanity evolved. So you've got the cyborgs, transhumans, and humanity awakened, as well as the synthetic beings, if we want to count those. But for simplicity's sake, we're just going to keep focused on these three. And to be 1,000% honest with you, this is probably where I should cut the video short, because this is a whole separate topic entirely. I just wanted to roll this video out and talk about how these people are basically advocating for eugenics on social media, and there's an even darker agenda behind it to eradicate humanity while they make way for this new crop of humans, while simultaneously like dismissing the amazing powers that people are beginning to develop as they come into their fullness and awakening. This is why one of the videos I put out the other week talking about humanity, rediscovering its superpowers is a real thing. Honestly, I just spent like the past 5 minutes in between the last video trying to find like a single piece of note paper that I had that went over like timelines, timeline convergence, timeline mergers, powers coming up. I wish I could talk about it, but my kids moved it, so I got to find it for another video.